सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Om. In the first part of the 15th chapter, Lord Krishna gave a description of samsara so that a person will develop a desire for samsara nivritti or moksha. Because unless one diagnoses the human problem, there will never be an attempt to get out of the problem. And therefore, he gave the description of samsara by comparing samsara to the huge tree of Ashwatha. And this was done in the first 2.5 verses. And thereafter, Krishna has now entered into the sadhanas meant for samsara nivritti, moksha prapti sadhanani, or samsara nivritti sadhanani. And many disciplines are discussed in the Shastras, and Lord Krishna is here highlighting 4 disciplines which I introduced in the last class. The first one is Vairagyam, which Krishna called Asangatvam. And by the word Vairagyam, we saw the idea conveyed is deciding to depend upon the Lord more than the world. So shifting from world dependence to God dependence is Vairagyam. So that later we can discover that the Lord is none other than my own higher nature. The scriptures do not reveal this fact in the beginning. In the beginning, Lord is presented as a third person other than me. So he is Srishtikarta, he is Sthitikarta, he is omniscient, he is omnipotent. God is described as a paroksha vastu, someone different. And we are asked to depend upon that Lord in any form we like, in the form of Ganesha, Shiva, Vishnu, etc. And thereafter alone we discover the fact that the Lord is not away from me, the Lord is my own higher nature. And therefore God dependence will later be converted into self-dependence, which is total freedom. So thus, Vairagyam means shifting the dependence from the world to Lord. This is one. And the next one, the second one that Krishna mentions is Sharanagati, or surrender to the Lord. So to pursue the moksha marga. This is based on the discovery of the fact that any human undertaking can be successful only when 2 factors are favorable. Any human undertaking can be successful only when 2 factors are favorable. One is my sincere effort, called prayatnaha. Without my effort, nothing can happen. As they say, 10 people can take a horse to the waterfront, but the horse alone has to drink. Similarly, if my effort is not there, even God cannot help me. Therefore, prayatna is one factor, And the second factor is Ishvara Anugraha, the grace of the Lord, so that all the other factors are favorable to me. All the hidden factors are favorable to me. And to seek this grace of the Lord, I surrender to the Lord. Sharanagati or Prapatti is the second sadhana. And the third one is the development of healthy virtues. So, Sad Guna Sampadanam, because only in the atmosphere of healthy virtues, self-knowledge can take place. Just as in chemistry, when they talk about various chemical reactions, they always specify the temperature and the pressure in whose conditions alone the reaction can take place. Certain reactions require NTP. Chemistry students will know NTP nanartham, normal temperature and pressure. In the case of certain other reactions, higher temperature and pressure. In the case of certain other reactions, lower temperature and pressure, cryogenic experiments always take place in very, very low temperature. And similarly, they talk about acid medium, alkaline medium. When we have got acidity problem, these are all the conditions. Therefore, if the local events require certain conditions to successfully take place, Vedanta says the self-knowledge also can take place only certain conditions. And what is that? There should be normal temperature and pressure. Here also we use the expression, there is lot of pressure, Swamiji solram. And also we get heated up also. Solram. Therefore, the ideal condition of the mind in which self-knowledge can take place is called sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. There you say NTP, here I say SCS. SCS nanartham sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. In simple language, healthy virtues. And some of the virtues Krishna himself will enumerate later. Some we had already seen in the 13th chapter. In one word, I will say Sadguna. So, Vairagyam, Sharanagati, Sadguna. And the fourth is Vedanta Vicharaha. Inquiry into the scriptures or scriptural study. Unfortunately, this sadhana is not emphasized at all nowadays. All the other sadhanas are highlighted. Nobody talks much about scriptural study, that too systematic scriptural study. Just as we study physics in the college for a length of time, chemistry we study, mathematics we study, Vedanta is also a systematic shastra requiring a systematic study. And this we call as Vedanta Vicharaha, consisting of Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasanam. And Krishna uses the word here, Parimarganam. Parimarganam means self-enquiry. through the instrumentality of scripture. Just as to inquire into the disease in the body, the doctors use the appropriate instrument. Even to have a master checkup, the doctor cannot study your body, your blood, etc. through ordinary eyes and ears. He has got gadgets, many gadgets. So many scan, EEG, ECG, brain scan. How many instruments are there? So to make an appropriate inquiry, you require an appropriate instrument. Self-inquiry requires the instrument called Shastra Pramanam. And that is why we always say self-inquiry is equal to Shastric inquiry. Atma Vichara is equal to Vedanta Vichara. Remember the example of the mirror I gave you the other day. If I have to see my face, I have to make use of the mirror. And when I am looking into the mirror, it appears as though I am looking outside, but what I am actually seeing is not outside, I am seeing myself. I see the face on the mirror or in the mirror, but when I apply chandanam or kumkumam, I don't apply on the mirror, I apply here because I know I see there, but what I see is here. Similarly, the more you get into the Shastra properly with the right Guru, the greater the Shastric study, greater is the understanding of myself. The deeper you penetrate into the Shastra, the deeper is your understanding of yourself. So this is the fourth one, Vedanta Vicharaha, Vairagyam, Sharanagati, Sadgunaha, and Vedanta Vicharaha. And of these four sadhanas, what is the most important one? Of these four, what is the most important one? Krishna does not mention, but we should remember the most important one is Vedanta Vichara alone. The other three are only supportive causes because they only prepare the condition of the mind. So just as preparing the condition for a chemical reaction or preparing the condition for a surgery, the conditions are important, but what cures the disease is the surgery. Condition la seri panni aathukku po sonna vechungo. No, they are all important. Sugar has to be brought down. Pressure has to be handled. All these conditionings are important, but it is the surgery, the treatment which removes the disease. And remember, here the virus or bacteria is ignorance bacteria. And ignorance is removed only by knowledge generated by Vedanta Vichara. Sharanagati cannot remove ignorance. All the virtues cannot remove ignorance. If you have all virtues, you will be virtuously ignorant. Previously viciously ignorant, now virtuously ignorant. Virtues cannot remove ignorance. Vairagyam cannot remove ignorance. Therefore, Vairagyam, Sharanagati and Sadgunaha, they only create the condition. The actual job is done by Vedantic study, which generates the knowledge and in the process removes ignorance. As I often say, it is ignorance-o-dectomy surgery. So therefore, three are supporting causes and Vedanta Vichara is primary cause. All these four are mentioned. In the third verse, Vairagyam has been mentioned. In the fourth verse, Krishna is mentioning Vedanta Vichara and Sharanagati. So look at the third line first. Tameva chadyam purusham prapadye. Every mumukshu must be a devotee of the Lord. Without Ishvara Bhakti, any amount of intellectual acumen will not bless a person. We do require a sharp intellect, no doubt, but bhakti is very, very important. And that is why we start the class with a prayer parthaya pratibodhitam. Whether the mind is in the prayer or not, at least vayalayadu solli vekkanom. Ambatvam anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita, I surrender. And therefore, the last two lines are within quotation, the surrender expressed by the devotee. So he addresses the Lord, O Lord, Tam Purusham Adyam Prapadye. I surrender that Lord who is called Purushaha. The word Purusha has two meanings. One meaning is the all-pervading one. Purayati sarvam iti Purushaha. Pur, to fill or pervade. From that only Shashtyabda, Purti, etc. The root is Pur. And there is another meaning also. Pure vasati iti Purushaha. Puram means the body. Vasati means the one who dwells. Therefore, Purushaha means the one who indwells the body. And that is natural, because if the Lord is all-pervading, the Lord will be in my heart or not. The all-pervading Lord has to be pervading this all also. And therefore, that Purusha, the all-pervading Lord who is in my heart, I surrender. And what type of Lord he is? Yataha Purani Pravrittihi Prasrita. Pravrittihi means the emergence, Utpattihi. Pravrittihi means the Utpattihi, the emergence, the origination of what? This creation. Beginning from the space onwards, Tasmadva etasmadatmana akashas sambhutaha akashad vayuhu vayoragnihi agnerapaha. Even space originates from the Lord. And when all this start, when does this origination begin, Krishna says, Purani Pravritti, the most ancient creation. We do not know when the Big Bang started, billions of years ago. So this ancient origination or creation, Prasrita, Prasrita means proceeds, emerges from which Lord, from which source? That original Lord I surrender to. So this is called Sharanagatihi. This is the second Upayaha. And then we will go back to the first line in which the third sadhana is mentioned, namely Vedanta Vicharaha. Tataha. Tataha means what? After preparing the mind very well. So after providing the conditions, even a farmer will sow the seed only after preparing the land and after Kaveri water or monsoon. Kaveri water seems to be in trouble. So unless there is water, how can you farm? And therefore any activity requires the condition, and therefore tataha means sadhana chatushtaya sampatti anantaram. That is how Brahma Sutra begins. Vyasacharya writes the famous Brahma Sutra consisting of 555 sutras, the most important Vedantic literature, and it begins with Athato Brahma Jignasa. And Shankaracharya writes an elaborate commentary on the first word Atha. Adha padikirathukkulle you get heated up. He analyzes various possible meanings of the word Atha and dismisses all other possible meanings and arrive at the meaning thereafter. Adukku 1.5 page commentary, for which 10 pages sub-commentary, for which 100 pages sub-commentary for Atha. And once he establishes the meaning as thereafter, he himself asks the question, thereafter means whereafter? After drinking coffee, is it? So that will be fresh for Brahma Sutra. So then Shankaracharya himself answers the question, sadhana chatushtaya sampatti anantaram, after preparing the mind. In fact, our entire religious life is for this preparation. All our rituals are called samskaraha. The very conception is a samskara. Garbhadhana samskara, pumsavana samskara, simanta samskara, jatakarma samskara. Samskara means what? Refinement process. Everything that we do in our religion, including Navaratri, Kolu, and also Chundal, all are meant for what? A refinement of the mind. Samskara. What a beautiful name. And a mind which is refined is called Samskrita Antahkaranam. Therefore, here the word Tataha means Atha of Brahma Sutra. Tataha is equal to Atha. Ataha shalabdad. Atha. And what should you do? Parimargitavyam. Enter into Vedantic study. Seriously, systematically. Find out what is Sthula Shariram, what is Sukshma Shariram, what is Karana Shariram. Is there something beyond? if there is something beyond, what is its nature? It's a very elaborate enquiry. So, parimargitavyam, vicharayitavyam. There in the Vyasa Sutra, it is called Brahma Jignasa. Jignasa means parimarganam. And what do you inquire into? Padam. Padam, in the last class I explained, it has two meanings. One meaning is the ultimate goal of every human being, which is Brahman. So, destination, padyate iti padam karma vyutpatti. And there is a second meaning also, and that is the basis or substratum. And according to the second meaning also, it is Brahman only. So, Brahman, which is the destination, and Brahman, which is the substratum of the whole creation, which is the root of the samsara vriksha, that Brahman may you inquire through Vedanta. Okay. What is the advantage of reaching that destination? Already I have got several destinations in my life. I have got a big agenda. So, among so many agendas which are incomplete, you are adding one more. Now you say that Brahma Jnanam also is your goal. So, in what way this destination is better? Krishna tells this is the best destination because this is the only destination reaching which further travels are not there. A person has reached home. So, Brahman alone is the real home where you can feel at home. Any other goal you fulfill, for a day you are fulfilled and relaxed. Next day you are ready for what next? Adukapparam enna? Education over, what next? Employment. Employment over, what next? Getting settled. Settled na anartham. So it is a figurative expression for getting married. Then what next? Children. Then what next? They should be settled. Then what next? Grandchildren. Then what next? They should be settled. So I am eternally unsettled, looking for somebody's settlement or the other. I am always unsettled. The agenda never ends. And this has been going on from Anadikala. Payanangal mudivade illai. Whereas this is the destination where you feel at home with yourself. And thereafter, whatever you do, it is not a struggle, but it is a sport or enjoyment. And therefore, Krishna says, Yasmin Gata. Reaching which destination? That is Brahman destination, Moksha destination, reaching. Bhujaha na nivartanti. One does not come back to samsara, which is the perpetual struggle. The perpetual struggle ends once and for all. Remember the snake and the ladder. The moment you reach Paramapadam and the Vaikuntha Ekadashiki, the Vaishnavas have to play the Paramapadam. So, na nivartanti bhuyaha. May you seek that goal through Vedanta Vichara. So, with this, 3 sadhanas have been talked about. What are the 3? Vairagyam, Sharanagati, and Vedanta Vichara. Now the 4th we have to see in the next verse we will read. Nirmana mohajita sanga doshaha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kamaha dvandvair vimukta sukha dukkha sanjnaihi gacchantya mudhah padam avyajantat. So the 4th discipline is sadgunaha, cultivation of healthy virtues, Vedanta friendly virtue, which serve as a catalyst for the moksha reaction to take place. So what are those virtues? We have already enumerated in the 13th chapter from verse number 8 to 12, amanitvam, adambhitvam, etc. And Krishna will again elaborate in the 16th chapter in the form of Daivi Sampath, and later in the 17th chapter also. So here Krishna wants to only give certain sample virtues. And what are they? Krishna says, Nirmana moha. First and foremost, develop humility. Get rid of arrogance, pride, vanity, which unknowingly creep into our personality. A few achievements can easily get into our head. And a few people glorify us, talagilda, we have lost all our balance. And therefore our scriptures emphasize vinayaha, or humility, as one of the most important virtues required. And as I said, I think in one of the classes before, one of the exercises prescribed is learning to do namaskara. The very physical prostration has the capacity to develop humility. And in our culture, left and right, any occasion, namaskara is there. Not only in front of the Lord, namaskara to parents, namaskara to elders, namaskara to teachers. So this is one method. And the second one is to constantly remember that there are people who are greater than me and superior to me in any field. I am never the greatest one in the creation. If I remember this fact, humility will be automatic. And secondly, and more importantly, I should remember whatever glories or faculties I have, they are all gift from the Lord. It doesn't take much time to lose them. A wonderful voice can be easily lost with one ice cream or anything. So any faculty that I have can be lost at any time. Remember the 10th chapter of the Gita, everything I possess is Bhagavan's gift. And any glorification I receive, we won't have that problem. Nobody will glorify. Thittama irundha sari. So any glorification I receive, even any namaskara I receive, I directly hand over mentally to the Lord. If these 2 points I remember, first point, there are people who are superior and greater. And second point, whatever I have is Bhagavan's grace. If these two I remember in my mind, and physically I keep doing namaskara wherever appropriate. வெளியில போனது ஆரைனாலும் போய் நமஸ்காரம் பண்ணுங்க சொல்ல. ஆட்டோ ரிக்ஷாக்காரன் வந்திருக்க, நில்லப்பா ஒரு நமஸ்காரம் பண்றேன். So because Swamiji has said, I don't ask you to do all kinds of things where appropriate, without hesitation, Sashtanga Namaskara. If there is a backache, Panchanga Namaskara. If I cannot bend at all, at least the shortcut Namaskara. You do Nirmana is nothing but Amanitvam of the 13th chapter, Vinayaha. Then the next virtue is Nirmohaha. That Nir should be read twice. Nirmana and Nirmoha. You should not say Nirmana is one virtue and Moha is another virtue. Moha is not a virtue we have to acquire because we already have a plenty. So, Nirmoha, freedom from delusion. And that means what? Proper thinking or discrimination. And what is proper thinking? We should remember that every individual is a mixture of a spiritual personality and a material personality. Spiritual personality is the Atma Tattvam and the material personality is the Anatma Tattvam. Every individual is a mixture of spirit and matter. We are both spiritual and materialistic. As Dayananda Swamiji says, even the greatest spiritual person, when he is eating food, he is pakka materialist only, because he is dealing with matter to nourish the matter. There is no Atma involved in eating. So we have both the personality. Our growth is balanced growth in which I take care of my material needs and I should also take care of my spiritual growth. And that is why we have divided the Purushartha into 4. Artha Kama are also important. Dharma Moksha also are important. There should not be a lopsided approach. That's why Krishna said in the 16th chapter, suppose a person says, 24 hours I want to do meditation only. Chapadave matena, because it is materialistic pursuit. Krishna said, it won't work if you don't eat at all properly and meditate. Only idlis and chapatis will come in your meditation. So 100% spiritual pursuit nobody can have. 100% material pursuit is also lopsided. And therefore Krishna says balance. Give time for Arthakama, earn well, eat well. But at the same time, have time for attending the Sunday. So, Sunday classes also. அதுதான் சொல்றேன். No time there சொல்லாதீங்க. And therefore, mohaha means the misconception that pursuit of money alone will give me fulfillment in life. காசேதான் கடவுளடா philosophy won't work. காசும் கடவுள் ஓகே, காசேதான் கடவுள் is a problem. So earn money required, but you cannot spend your entire life in earning and entertainment alone. That is why I often say, what I have alone is not the criterion for my joy. What I am also should be taken care of. We are taking care of only what I have, but we are never taking care of what I am. And therefore, nirmohaha means the one who gives equal importance to spirituality also. And next virtue is jita sanga dosha. Sanga means emotional slavery, emotional attachment, emotional addiction, emotional leaning upon external factors is a risky proposition, because the external world is constantly changing. So leaning upon a changing support is not a healthy one, and therefore use everything but don't lean on anything. And if at all you want to lean upon something, lean upon something shashvatam. And that's why I told in the beginning itself, world dependence to God dependence. So jita sanga doshaha means those who have mastery, those who are not emotional slaves of people, of situations, and of things. So this will take time, but we have to work on that. In fact, all our vratams prescribed in the scriptures are meant to develop that self-dependence only. Whatever we are used to, we are asked to give up for a day, for a week. Those people who take vratam for Shabarimalai, for a certain number of days, they learn to live without those dependences. See what happens if coffee is not there for a week. Angenda arambikana, coffee lenda arambikana. So therefore, freedom from slavery. Then the next one, vinivritta kama. So not developing new dependences. The previous value is what? Giving up the present dependence. And there are some people who give up. They say, I have given up smoking. And what do I do now? Pan parag. So, katti pochu, valu vandadu, dim 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 solradale adu mari. You have left one, but replaced by something equal or worse. So, paku, many people have got the habit of the paku. Paku can arika nut in the mouth and it creates even cancer of the mouth, they say. But you ask them to give up, it is extremely difficult for them. For some people it is snuff. Now snuff is coming down. I think it is not much. All the time having chin mudra. Snuffuk namper. I have named it chin mudra. So there was one Shastri. He takes wonderful Vedantic classes. He is very beautiful, very great scholar. And the kattavarlukkum and the idukkum kaalla and the dabba vechundirupar. And he will have that. Very good scholar. He teaches so well. Adikkadi ulla poganam. So therefore what I am saying is vinivritta kamaha means don't replace one dependence by another. So vinivritta kamaha, free from fresh attachments or desires. Then the next virtue is dvandvair vimukta. So those who can withstand the opposite experiences of life. The capacity to withstand the opposite experiences which are inevitable in life. So there is prosperity, lot of money, and then there is also situation, lot of kadan, lot of debt also. And the health is there, in health is there, and gain is there, loss is there, victory is there, failure is there, mana, apamana. In fact, life is a series of opposites. In Sanskrit, we call it dvandvam. Dvandvam means pair. And that is why we read the Puranic stories. Reading the Purana is very useful because from the Puranas we come to know that even great emperors and even great bhaktas and even avatars have faced opposite. Ramayana, you read, Rama was in the palace and in the forest. Dharmaputra was in the palace, in the forest. Nala was a great king, lost everything. Thus, when we read, we come to know when great emperors cannot avoid ups and downs, what am I, a Muttappuchi, going to do? Avashyam bhavi bhavanam pratikaro bhavedyadi tatha dukkhairna lipyeran nala rama yudhishthiraha. When they have to face choiceless situations, unremediable situations, how can I help? And therefore I have to toughen myself, I have to thicken my skin. And that is called shock absorber through viveka and bhakti. Discrimination and devotion will give a mind with a shock absorber. And therefore, free from reactions to words, violent reactions to words. You cannot avoid the reactions totally, but the shock absorber will reduce the intensity. I won't go mad. I won't think of committing suicide. I may be upset a little bit, but it is withstandable, manageable condition. And therefore, those who are free from violent reactions with regard to adverse circumstances. And what are the adverse opposite experiences? Sukha, dukkha, samjnai, in the form of pleasure and pain and others. So when that well-known proverb you might have heard, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. It's a very beautiful proverb. In Sanskrit, we have got a beautiful shloka in which they divide the human beings into two types of balls. One is a wet clay ball, a ball made up of wet clay, and another is a rubber ball. Now you drop both of them down. What will happen? The wet clay ball, once it falls, never gets up. Fallen for good. It doesn't have the capacity to bounce back. No resilience, permanently scarred and damaged. Whereas the rubber ball, the moment it falls, immediately it bounces back. In fact, harder the fall, more is the bouncing. Yatha kanduka padena utpatati aryaf patannapi tathatu anaryaf patati mritpinda padanam yatha. உங்களுக்கு அர்த்தம் புரியுமே? Kanduka pata means the fall of a regular ball. It has the resilience, it bounces back. And the other one is a ball of wet clay. I have to decide whether I am clay or ball. And the one who is like a ball is called Dvandvair Vimuktaha. Chumma tattinde. Okay, this was a tragic condition. Okay, 1 day you cry, 2 days you cry, 3 days you cry, then start life alone. Who has not lost kingdom, lost people, husbands or wives or children? All these things happen. That resilience is the virtue. And the next and the most important virtue is Adhyatma Nityaha. Adhyatma Nityaha means what? Regular study of scriptures. In fact, they nourish these virtues. Just as physical health requires the consumption of regular nutritious food. Physical health requires regular consumption of nutritious food, not junk food. Okay. Similarly, mental health requires regular consumption of nutritious food called scriptural study. It is a nutrition for the mind and intellect. And if you read any other book, Stardust, what will happen? We will go to dust. So that is called junk food. Therefore, read Gita, read sayings of the Mahatmas. Remember, that is nourishment to the mind and intellect. And therefore, Krishna says, Adhyatma Nityaha. Nityaha means what? Regularly committed to. Adhyatma means the spiritual scriptures. So either by reading or writing or sharing, find out one victim and then share. As Swami Chinmayananda says, invite him and give a hot cup of coffee so that he cannot go until he completes it. So therefore you will get 15 minutes fire oh fire. Next time he may come, may not come. So therefore share whatever you have. That is also scriptural study only. And if a person follows these virtues along with the other three na Vairagyam, Sharanagati and Vedanta Vicharaha, then Amudhaha. Such people who follow all these 4 sadhanas, Vairagya, Sharanagati, Vichara, Sadguna, all the 4, those who follow, Amudhaha Bhavanti, they become wise people. Amudhaha means Jnani. Brahmavit, Sthiraprajnaha. So they become wise people. And then Tat Padam Gacchanti, they will reach the destination of Brahman, the destination of God, or the destination of moksha. They will certainly attain, guaranteed. And what type of destination it is? Avyayam, which is permanent, which is never lost. Because wisdom is never lost. Money you gain, it gets depleted, exhausted. But knowledge, when you share with others, it will never get depleted. If it is going to get depleted, as I teach Gita more and more, at the end of the 5th course, my knowledge will be half. By the time I come to 15th course, Gita, Poch, I would have forgotten. That is not so. The more I teach, the more I know. Vidyadhanam sarvadhanat pradhanam vyaye krite vardhata eva nityam. The more you use your knowledge, the more it increases. And therefore moksha is permanent benefit, never lost. More in the next class. Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.